Hey there, I'm Megan with Rocky Mountain Sewing and Vacuum. Today we're going to be talking about the Bernina Q20 Longarm quilting machine, which I think is one of the most versatile that's out in the market right now. It's got several different table options you can use if you choose to use it as a sit down, or you can either upgrade to a frame or purchase it on a frame as well. I love it because it is also Swiss engineered and Swiss made, and it also is built in with the Bernina stitch regulator, which they're famous for. I can't wait to show you some of my favorite features. Bernina has made it really easy by putting a lot of the stuff that we have to do on our long arm up in the front here. So one thing is the bobbin winder is actually loaded on the machine up in front right there, which I think is just great. I don't have to go stand up and wind my bobbins. I can just sit here and get them done. The other thing is the threading on the machine is actually right here in front. So instead of having to reach back here and work my way around, it's all right up front here, and I can even open the store and see where everything needs to go. As a vertically challenged person too, I appreciate that Bernina actually put a hand wheel right here. So instead of having to reach all the way around and act like I'm a giraffe, or do some crazy yoga poses, or run around the machine and move the hand wheel to get everything oiled, I can actually just push in and press this, and it does actually move my needle on the machine so that I can do what I need to when I need to maintenance the machine, or maybe I'm trying to get the needle right back on the point that I just had to stop because my bobbin ran out. So I think those are pretty amazing, easy features on these guys. The screen on this guy is going to look really familiar to you if you already have a Bernina machine. It's got the black ribbon over here where it can tell you as tension, if the foot is up and down. I can even save some of my favorite settings if I like to use funky threads or specific fabric that might need different tensions or different speeds. It's got a bobbin indicator that'll let me know when my bobbin is starting to run empty. And then also the BSR here, which just like on the Bernina sewing machines, when you move too fast, the BSR will flash red. When you go just the right speed, it will be flashing green as you go. I can also toggle on this machine the needle to go in the upright position or the downright position when I finish sewing. I'm not the best at long arm quilting, so I often toggle it to that needle down position. So if I stop or hesitate, I'm not making extra stitches where I don't want it to be. And then of course, I've got all my different BSR modes and manual. So the Bernina stitch regulator is so awesome because what it does is as I move the fabric, it's going to regulate how many stitches per inch or stitches per minute that I'm doing as I'm sewing. So BSR 1 is going to be kind of like a cruise control where the needle's just going to keep moving up and down. BSR 2 is my personal favorite because when I stop, the machine will stop. And then BSR 3 is great if you're trying to baste. Maybe you're trying to baste your quilt top together or just make some big stitches around an applique or something just to make sure everything is staying in place. And I can tell it 1 stitch per inch, 2 stitches per inch, or 4 stitches per inch. And the machine will regulate that for me. If I do that, you can actually see the stitch change length as I select them too. Now manual mode is something for those of us that are a little bit more daring, who prefer to be the stitch regulator themselves, which is really nice. So myself, I'm going to switch us to BSR 2 before we start sewing. But there's a couple other things I like to mention too. This machine does have the same foot control as our regular Bernina machines as well. So what I can actually do is I can program the back kick where it toggles needle down, needle up typically to do different things such as a tie off, raise and lower my presser foot, do the needle up and down, or do a single stitch at a time. My personal favorite is to leave it at the needle up and down, but I think it's awesome that you can program it to what you want it to be. This machine is super customizable so that it makes it the most easy that it can be for you. If I go into my home screen here, I've got my regular stitch out mode. I've got all of my settings, which normally we don't play with too much, but my favorite thing is I can change the pattern of the background and the color, and I can also change it to say, "Good morning, Megan," if I had one at home, one day maybe. You can also turn on your notifications for when a thread breaks or when a bobbin runs out. Personally, I think both of those should be toggled on because it is the worst when you've been working on something and you ran out of bobbin thread 20 yards ago. I mean, I've never done that. Anyways, you can also turn your sounds on and off on this machine and go through the other settings on it as well. This one's going to be a calibration if the screen's not working properly. But I think it's great that they've got all those options. Not to mention, as a quilter, there's a lot of really cool things in here too. Of course, they've got eco mode, so if I need to go run and do something really quick, but I don't want to turn the machine off because Bernina machines are not morning people. They take a couple minutes to turn on. I can just hit that eco mode and it'll turn all the lights off for me, and then I can resume quilting when I'm ready. It's also got an on-screen manual with little videos and instructions how to do things if I forgot and it's been a while. And then something neat if you are doing quilting professionally, there's actually a calculator where you can calculate your stitches per inch or figure out how big of a quilt you're working on or how much binding you need to do. Instead of going to hunt down for a calculator or your phone, it's right here built on the screen. Not to mention, we've also got the amount of stitches. So this here can track how many stitches you've been working on per project. Here at the store, it doesn't look like we've reset it, but what you can do is you can hit that little reset button and it will tell you how many stitches per project in case you want to charge by the stitch or whatever you want to do. So it really makes it customizable. But now I want to show you how it drives. So before I start stitching, I'm actually going to mention a couple other things as well. So one thing is about needles on this guy. One of my favorite things that Bernina did with the Q series is that they actually made it just take standard needles. So the same needles that you use in your sewing machine are going to be the same ones that you use here. Of course, you don't want to use Singer needles, and quilting exclusive needles will do the best, but I think it's really nice that you can use those same needles for this machine instead of having to remember which kind of long arm needles this guy has. The other thing is, unlike most long arms, they actually put a built-in needle threader. So you can actually thread your needle right in front of the machine instead of having to, lick the thread and try for 20 minutes, even though no one wants to say that, to get it threaded down here. The last thing is that they actually have also made it so you can use your normal Bernina feet on these guys. So this one here is actually a Bernina ruler foot 72, because we do have the rulers over here to play with. But not only does it come with the standard quilting foot, but any of your ruler feet, your Echo quilting foot, your normal 29C foot, any of those guys will work on this machine as well. All right, now that I'm done talking, I want to show you what it does. So I've got it loaded on BSR2. I'm going to pick up my bobbin thread. There we go. All right, I think we're good. And we're going to go. So I can go fast, I can go slow, and it's going to do its best job to make sure that the stitches are regulated and beautiful, just like Bernina is known for. However, don't mind the user, because I am not the best quilter out there. Can never get over how smooth of a drive that is. But all the stitches are beautiful and even though I'm not the most experienced, it looks like I know a fair amount of what I'm doing. I think you should come and check this guy out. We do have a floor model here in Aurora that you can try, but our Littleton and Arvada locations would be more than happy to answer any questions that you have on them. I will say one great question to ask is about the tables that are available for this guy. So there's 3 different options, or you can get it set up on a long arm quilting frame, which is the stand-up version of this guy. However, the 3 different table options on these are going to be a horn table that's like a folding table, so it's a little smaller of a footprint. There's also a koala table that is just like a koala cabinet. It can actually have leaves that make it a little bit bigger, which is really, really nice. Or we've got this guy here, which is also made by Horn. It is a hydraulic lift table. So what's nice is you can set it to 3 different heights. So right now I've got it set up to sit down, but if I wanted to and my back was getting tired, I can actually set it to a higher height so that I can go from there. And I really like this because it helps your posture and everything like that too. Not to mention it's super quiet when it's moving. So definitely come check it out, and we would love to play with this with you. I hope to see you soon.